G'day and welcome to the Off-Chain Podcast. Don here with you. Our guest today is Omar Saadoun, CTO and co-founder of Brainstems.ai. Brainstems DeFIM protocol allows trustless collaboration and training of AI models for seamless AI learning for businesses. If you don't understand why that's so important, this episode is going to be super interesting. How can two, even competitors, create usable intelligence together without compromising or sharing their data? Super interesting. Omar has a long history of working in blockchain. We're super excited to have him on the show to talk about how their product enables businesses to share global AI models without compromising data privacy. It's going to be a great episode. Let's dive in. How did you get started in Web3? Tell us a bit about your origin story.
Well, actually, it's an interesting story. Of course, I have a software development company that started in 2008, and that I co-founded. And at some point, we were looking for expanding our markets. So we were working on the region, and we were trying to get to the US market. And like any big market, they receive so many contacts from so many different places, and you want to stand out. You want to differentiate yourself. And I remember we were working with those companies, consulting companies that help you to make your service international and stuff like that. And at some point, one of the consultants told me, you need a differentiator. You need something very special and unique. Did you hear about Bitcoin and blockchain? And that was around 2016. And I remember I heard about it even some years before, but I never paid attention to it. And at that time I said, well, let's take a look, let's find out what this is about, what's the objective. And I kind of felt in love with the idea and the opportunity. But also I felt in love with the fact that I was sending emails and communication and people was answering me, So I was asking them before, hey, I'm a great software developer, I have great developers working with me, and nobody was answering. And suddenly I was talking about blockchain and Bitcoin, and then I end up closing deals for mobile and software development in general. So it was kind of an intro, for having this differentiator at the first, but then it was really getting my attention and starting also to build and understand more and getting involved with the different projects. We were also very lucky at that time because we were talking with the right people at the right moment. So we started contributing with projects like Blockstream. I personally also was involved in some protocols, from the inside, like Ethernet blockchain and stuff. So, but at that time I jumped really quick, really deep into the blockchain field, which was very challenging, but also very fun. And yeah, at some point, we were like working a lot, going through all the ups and downs, that are around in the field. So it feels like ages since I started being involved in Web3 and blockchain. But yeah, it was kind of fun, between coincidence, strategy, and then fell in love about the idea and the concept and what we were able to create from there.
So Omar, the original company that you're working on, when you heard about blockchain in 2016, so about 8 years later, is this a different company? Did you actually stop doing what you were doing and then start doing blockchain, or did you migrate or pivot over to blockchain? What did that look like for you?
It was a pivot. In fact, that company still works. We started specializing ourselves, slowly. But that time there was so much, there was too much knowledge about it. So a lot of people was just talking about blockchain, adding to their website blockchain. We are doing blockchain. And if when you started scratching a little bit, there was nothing behind it. Nobody was really understanding and taking the advantage. So we jump in.
But they did have some really cool geometric looking things on their websites. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So our way of doing that was, let's understand what are the capacities of this technology, what people thinks behind it, what you can start creating and getting involved, speaking about it, learning about it, and doing projects about it, like really getting, not just adding a chain, to your website or something like that, or your proposal. So that company still works, and we were more and more deep and specialized in blockchain, working in different protocols, and but always trying to ensure that the way we were using blockchain makes sense, add value, or you are really creating something that wasn't possible to create before this technology.
So what you're working in at the moment, and I'm really keen to get into that in more full detail soon, it's blockchain, but it's also AI. How are you feeling about having come through that period of time where, 2016, 2017, I know blockchain had been around for a number of years already, but it seemed to really hit the mainstream attention around then with that kind of the bull run through 2017, 2018. Do you find it similar now with AI having its own kind of bull run at the moment, and with the same kinds of companies pivoting over into AI, suddenly everything was blockchain 2017, 18. Similarly, it seems to be everything's AI in 2024. Are these similar vibes, or is this different now? Do you think that there's a material difference to this versus that? It certainly seems more mainstream than blockchain was, or even still is. What are you feeling about AI Absolutely. Generally?
It's a very interesting question. The other day I was looking at some advertising about a glass manufacturer, that were saying we are designing our glasses with AI. And I was kind of laughing because this remembers me, in 2017 when everybody was doing ICO for making a pool in their backyard, blockchain based. So invest on that token, something like that. But still, there is a lot of hype, around it. A lot of people switching and moving to AI because it's a new thing and everybody wants it. I think that's normal, but at the same time, and this is something that the blockchain community probably is a little bit like jealous, is in the fact that AI has found a way to go into mainstream. Like everybody, my dad, my mother, my sister, my friends' kids that are at school, they are able to use AI, and they have no idea how that happens, how it works behind scenes, what's the complexity that usually blockchain people is always trying to explain and teach, so a lot of people, non-technical, that are using AI without knowing what happens and taking advantage of it, and that's I will say that's the main difference that we can see. It's how the adoption curve was so fast and so big in comparison to blockchain, that there is a little of hype, but definitely there is an adoption curve that is way more different and deeper than what happened with blockchain.
Is there anything that is particularly concerning or scary about AI for you? Other than like the general kind of, look ahead at AGI and whatever, but about where we're at right now. Is there anything that's concerning, or is this all just very exciting, blue sky kind of stuff?
It's a mix. From a business perspective and what we can do, I think it's incredible. I try not to be negative, seeing the good part of everything, that happens in life, and same with tech. So when I see AI, I think how much better I can be on what I do on every day. Before I was able to maybe think on 2-3 options, for an idea or for a way of solving something. And now I can have maybe 10-12 different ways of doing that. And I can make a better decision. I can challenge my own ideas without, going into validation rounds maybe, So I can create content in a way faster manner. So I do see in one side a great advantage. At the same time, there are very concerning topics around it that we really need to discuss. And when I look at my son, and what he's going to be able to do if he has the right tools, but having the right tools is not just having access to AI. Is, do I know how to take advantage of that? Do I know how much I'm depending on this AI for doing my everyday job? You don't want to end up in a place where if somebody switch off the AI machine, then you cannot do anything because you don't know how to reason. You don't know how to think. And from that thought, you can start thinking on other, concerning topics like who is controlling the AI. How is that? How even think on the other day I was thinking on vector attacks. For our purpose and what we are building today. You are building a business plan using AI. How can I ensure that nobody is messing with that AI training? And they are planting some ideas, into my new plan that can be hurtful, but I'm using the AI, so I need to trust on that system. So there are definitely great advantages. We have great opportunities in front of us. It's not. I don't think it's going to replace everybody's work. Definitely, it's going to change it. But that's something we are quite used to in technology, whether we think on that every day or not. Usually technical people, software developers, software engineers, and etc. We tend to think our life is solved. We are touching the skies with our fingers, and suddenly there is something that is going to create software for us. You will prompt some stuff and it's going to do your job. Well, somebody has to build that machine. Somebody needs to, prompt that engine and everything. But you still need to understand how software works, how people works, how to interpret their needs and so on. So your work is going to change. Everybody's work is going to change, like it has been changing for, I don't know, all times, since industrial revolution. So this is just going faster, and it's going to affect everybody else maybe, but depends more on you, on how you take advantage of that, how you understand how to use it for your own purposes, for making the world a better place, and and etc., having more options. So yeah, it's concerning hype, a lot of opportunity, all those mixed together.
And obviously, you've seen a great opportunity with AI in that you've started or been a part of the team starting Brainstems.ai. What inspired you to build this particular protocol? Why now? Why this particular combination of technologies? What's been unlocked recently that you couldn't do before, or how does this work better than what has been able to work before?
Yeah, it's a good question. It like many things, it's like you may have the idea or you may have the concept in your mind, but at some point, it's never the right time until it's the right time. So from a blockchain perspective, all the community is looking, it's like we created the tech, we created the tooling, and we are kind of waiting for the right use case to come and see the value of that technology. On the other side, you have needs, that might or might not connect to that technology. In business, usually you are always thinking on what are the problems that are out there, how you can solve those problems, and then you start looking around on technology. That's not the usual way of doing blockchain, other than the crypto part, like being able to transfer digital assets, let's say, from one place to another without any intermediary. But from there to really help businesses, there is a long gap. When we started thinking and talking about what we are doing on Brainstems, it came from both sides. It came from the need for businesses to solve a big problem they have that wasn't solved, and from the blockchain side, plus the AI capabilities that are more available now. There is a timing topic there because AI 10 years ago wasn't possible the way it is, and now it is. So it's like it's the right time for bringing in solutions to the right problems that haven't been solved yet, in a way that couldn't be possible before. So I know I'm not telling anything yet. We will come there, I guess, at some point.
Yeah. Well, tell us about what particular problems. You mentioned like there are some big problems that businesses have, and even problems that perhaps businesses didn't realize that they had, but opportunities that were being missed. How does Brainstem, what is that problem that you're trying to solve? And then I'm very keen to delve into a bit more about how you're actually solving that problem, what that materially looks like. So what is the problem?
All right. So in today's world, every company from smaller to the biggest one, they are using AI, right? They are thinking on their plans. Everybody's trying to improve. If you have a business, your objective is more or less, there are probably some shade areas there, but you have a service, you have a product or many products, and you are trying to figure out how to sell that product to your market, how to sell better, how to lower your costs, how to reach bigger markets or whatever market it is. You are trying to achieve that, and you are 99% sure that you are using today AI for helping you doing that in more or less complicated way, but you are using AI. The thing there is that you are as a company, you are never alone. If you sell, let's take pizza as an example. You are a pizza restaurant and you are selling your product to customers, but for having that pizza in the table, there is a lot of things going on behind and before. Like you will have somebody that is creating or manufacturing the flour, somebody that is creating that is manufacturing tomatoes, and so on, and somebody is going to take those tomatoes from the farm to a place that is going to be distributed. Somebody is going to try to locate the best tomatoes in the place for that restaurant. So you have an entire supply chains of companies that are specialized on each part of the supply to provide their best, and they are all trying to do the same. They are all trying to provide the best products, trying to provide the best routes, to deliver the best and fastest way to their customers and so on. So all those companies are kind of working together, but without really working together. Why? Because they don't share data. So what you have at the end of this is many different companies in a same supply chain having their AI system, but their AI system are just working in an isolated way with their own data, their own reality. So if I'm a logistic company, I have my customers, that want to drive their tomatoes to a specific place. I will not tell you what are my customers. I will just tell you where is the place you need to put those tomatoes. So by working in this isolated way, the AI training that you will get into every single isolated island or company, it's not going to drive the better option. It's not going to give you the better chances, the better predictions, like how to sell better, how to deliver better, how to lower costs, because it's not taking into account the entire set of companies that are part of that supply chain. What we are building is allowing that AI to interoperate between all the different companies without exposing data. So now you are able to have a better distribution, knowing who are the different manufacturers, who are the different restaurants, but of course, not exposing who are your customers to the different parties you are working with. So in a nutshell, we are allowing those companies to work collaboratively without exposing any data. And how we achieve that, which is quite interesting, is a nice combination between blockchain, AI, and of course, in the businesses providing what is necessary for the training.
All right. So without going into a deep technical level, unless we need to go there, how does that even work? Because it's funny. I was just rewatching HBO's Silicon Valley recently, and they come up with this. There's this one scene where they come up with this problem, and literally there's this black box in the middle that says, they're trying to figure out a federated instance where people could share data without exposing their data, or they could benefit from data being shared without exposing their data, and they couldn't solve this problem. And then one guy says, "Oh no, we solved that problem," and light bulbs go off, and all of a sudden there's a new internet. But how did you come upon the solution to this particular problem, or how are you tackling it? Maybe.
All right. Yeah, and like I said before, it's kind of the right combination, but also the right timing. So if you think how you will solve it without AI, well, you will have a single pod where everybody puts their data in, and you start taking and extracting intelligence from that data. That doesn't happen because nobody wants to put their data. I will not expose my customers. I will not expose my sales. I will not expose anything. So with blockchain, you could be able to say, well, let's trace, who can access this, ensuring that we have something that can be trustless. So you don't have to think that somebody central is going to adjust the permissions and stuff like that. It's a usual story when people say that blockchain kind of a big slow database. Well, it's not exactly like that. It has a component, but also it's a database that you cannot ask the administrator by paying him some bucks, and telling him provide me all the information because you have access. On the blockchain field, you can define stuff in a way that if there is no central authority, there is nobody with enough right to access that asset. So that could be attractive, for, well, let's put the data there. Let's establish who can access and in which way. And we all know that nobody can mess with those rules because it's a blockchain, and nobody can change those rules. But still, you are putting your data there. AI brought to us not just the ability of extracting in an incredible way, extracting intelligence, thinking about prediction, but also with this concept you mentioned, the federated learning that we are building in a decentralized way, allow us to somehow capture the intelligence through the training and encrypting that in a way that when you distribute all the intelligence and all the training of that model with everybody's data, you are not exposing anything. You are kind of establishing rules on how to access that data from all the different, how to access that intelligence, from all those, all the different companies that provided intelligence and data for the training. But you can do that also with a clear governance. You do that also engaging and enable external financing. So you can allow, with that combination, you can allow many different things, make possible this process, not just from a technical standpoint, but also from a business standpoint. And that's the beauty. That's what I love about what we are building. That is crossing those lines. It's not just a solution, pure technical solution. It's taking in account the business needs and the business thinking, and so.
Can you give an example of what that might look like for a business or multiple businesses who might be able to benefit from a collaboration, but again, don't want to give away any of their secrets?
Let's see. Trying to go a bit far from usual examples, but imagine you are classical seller buyer use case. You have somebody that is making food. You have somebody that is selling that food to operators, and you have those operators. So in our case, they are all working together, right? But they have even contracts between them, but they don't want to. In any case, they will not expose their data. So the manufacturer is not going to tell who are his customers to the broker that is selling his products, and the broker is not going to expose who are the restaurant that he is selling. The problem is, the manufacturer probably has their own sales department and sales and marketing department. The broker also has the sales and marketing department, and restaurant also has their sales and marketing department. So they are all trying to do a sales effort. And when they are in a collaboration, they might end up having the manufacturer trying to sell directly to the restaurant, or maybe even providing or giving discounts at some point to the restaurant. And suddenly you will have the food broker trying also to sell to the same restaurant and not knowing that there is a discount, because they don't even know this is an existing customer of the food manufacturer. So you are missing opportunities. You are losing time, you are losing money, because even though they are all working together, they are not sharing data in a way that they can be more successful, they can be more accurate, they can spend less money on doing their everyday job and fulfill their objectives. So the way our proposal is through decentralized federated learning, which means that the food manufacturer is going to help by providing in a secure ambient that he can control. He will provide the necessary data for the training, and this means locally he will be training a model based on a funding model and etc. But those are more the details. But in the end, he will be providing the training of a model. That training is going to go directly to the model in an encrypted way. Then you have the food broker that is also doing the same process of training with his data in a localized way, not exposing data to the rest of the people. And finding a restaurant that is also doing the same thing. So at the end of the round, you will have a model that has been fed by the training of the different members, without exposing data, because even the data that is using for the training is going to be encrypted. And at the end, you will have a model that is going to be composed by everybody's training. So it will take in account, like, well, if you are the manufacturer, you want to sell to a specific restaurant, or if you are the food broker, you want to sell to a specific restaurant, that model will have in his training, the right answer. You should sell to restaurant ABC, not saying because maybe D is already a customer, but just saying ABC are the better chances for you. So at the end, you have an engine that is smart enough and has the understanding of all the different parties to provide what is going to be better for all three parties to fulfill their main objective.
And that's what you're calling the decentralized federated intelligence mesh, right? DeFIM?
That's correct. Yeah, that's the entire protocol. What I explained is more specific to the DFL, the Decentralized Federated Learning. But the entire protocol we are building around that are other components. But this would be the most core component. It's what we call DeFIM. Yes, the Decentralized Federated Intelligence Mesh. In that at protocol level, that also includes how you govern the process. How you allow financing to come into the DFL and the different parties, how you do the access control, also how you measure the contribution from different parties, because this is decentralized now. So how do I validate that the food manufacturer is providing enough data, is providing data that is valuable for the training, without exposing. So you start having an entire set, of actors around it, for ensuring that the protocol is safe, is fair, and meets an objective, within the decentralized rules.
Gotcha. So the DFL, the Federated Learning, is more about how it works, how you actually how you're able to share data without, in a secure way. And the DeFIM is more about how the ecosystem actually operates. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And let me just make a simple correction. It happens all the time that, DFL is not about sharing data, but sharing intelligence. And it's a slight difference, but it's highly, highly important because the way we do it, there is... No, exactly. You are not sharing data. You are just sharing the training that is encrypted. So data stays in a place. Training, it's the part that is going through the entire process and collaborating in a way into or going into this centralized knowledge, model. We don't like centralized on the blockchain field, but it's that's the way it works.
Yeah, man. So DeFi had a big kind of intro to the scene a couple of years ago, and then DePIN has been a pretty strong narrative in the last 3 or 4 months, maybe. Where does DeFIM sit in the overall blockchain and AI ecosystem?
Well, we see ourselves at the intersection of DePIN and AI. DePIN being more like pure infrastructure, and AI like on a more logical or conceptual place, I will say. We are in that intersection, and that's why we are providing infrastructure, but our infrastructure is not just a basic layer, or it could be, there is a lot right now of related to AI. There are a lot of hardware access in a decentralized way, you have a lot of hardware available around the globe, and you can see platforms that provide access to that decentralized hardware. Well, that's DePIN. The difference that we have is that we are adding a layer of, I would call it business understanding. So it's not pure protocol, do what you want with it, try to create something on top of this. This is more specific. It's a more specific infrastructure we are providing that is done for, providing the right set of tools, providing the right set of elements for businesses to be able to extract better intelligence, working in a collaborative way, between companies in the same segment, in the same supply chain, and using these AI techniques, but not leaving aside the business need and understanding. You need to lower the risks. You need to ensure you have the right governance and transparency over the intelligence. You need to bring and lower the financing needs for fulfilling those objectives. So there are 3-4 specific business needs that needs to be solved through the protocol. That is not just about providing hardware access. It's something extra we are adding on top of that.
Gotcha. So, all right, man. There's a lot of questions. I'm trying to not go too deep, just in case we don't have particularly some of our listeners won't be particularly technical, or the others probably really want to open up the hood and have a look at what is that you're doing. I'm just trying to, how do you educate then your clients? Because I know you already have working product. How do you educate clients, or how do you work with people who maybe don't understand AI much more than, I can jump on Gemini or ChatGPT and ask it questions and it gives me a probabilistic answer, or don't understand blockchain perhaps, or don't even really understand even the clarification you just provided where where they have data, but you're helping them with intelligence. How do you communicate this to like the pizza joint that you just mentioned earlier in that example? How do you not dumb it down? That's not what I'm trying to say. How do you make this accessible for people so that we can actually understand? Oh my goodness, there is a phenomenal opportunity right in front of me if I could just understand how to utilize this thing. How are you communicating that to the average kind of lay person, non-AI tech, non-blockchain tech?
That's a great question, and sometimes we have to make a lot of effort not to try to explain some of the parts, but understanding the pains that the company has. And usually that pain is, I know I have information. I know that information has value. I also know that I cannot share that information because probably I will have compliance issues. So I have some restrictions for getting intelligence or extracting the gold I have on that data. So if you see from that perspective, from the different pains the company has, you will not get into much detail about how this work or explaining how this work, but what are the attributes and how that solve the problem you have. And I think that's where we will see that, not trying to explain a company or some area responsible. Look, you will have to create a wallet, you will have to create an address, that's not important. What is important is this is the way you are securing your data. This is the way you are ensuring yourself and everybody around you that this is your contribution. This is your input for this particular model. That is going to activate. Improving my sales or making a new product. So we try to put our minds from that angle. Where we are solving a problem. And what happens under the hood doesn't really matter. But if you like to see below the hood, that's fine. That's totally fine. You can check on the code of what we are doing or how we are making it, how it works. Because also that's part of the beauty of working on decentralized and on the open source side. So of course there are parts that needs to be, I will say, more secret, or they need more specific and proprietary development, and that's fine. But the entire way of working of this protocol it's there and it's there to grasp. How we balance between explaining, and to the detail, or let's focus on your problem. Let's focus on how we are solving this from a business standpoint. I think that makes the difference. Businesses doesn't want to know how their trucks work. They want to ensure that they deliver their stuff from one place to another, and that's it. Same here. If you have this AI, you need to understand about the risk of the tools you are using. What's the small letter of what you are using. But that doesn't mean you need to understand how it works. Like what are the weighted vectors? What's machine learning? What's GPT? You don't really need to know how that works. What it will delivers, how it can help you, and the risks that are associated to that, and what is solving. That's it. And for us, this is exactly the same. We're providing a solution for a very specific problem that hasn't been solved yet, and in a very specific way.
I'm just thinking, as you're speaking, is there any kind of opportunity for, say, for example, I'm not a pizza, I'm I don't have a company right now. I'm not selling anything or producing anything, or I don't have data myself, but I might be an entrepreneur, or I might be in a company that is looking for additional revenue streams and things like this. Is there any kind of way, is there on-ramps to access that intelligence to look for gaps in the market that aren't currently being addressed? Is that kind of a possible use case? Or is it really, it's for the people who are contributing to the mesh are the ones that are going to be able to benefit from the intelligence created?
Well, we do have different roles for supporting the protocol and the mesh. Those roles goes from, you can provide compute, you can act as a validator, you can even help as a steward financing the different activations. You can also provide data. So there are many different roles that can be from the most technical to the less technical. So I would say, yes, that opportunity is there. It's hard to establish what's the barrier, but let's say you have, let me quickly think, but let's say you have some compute available. You can provide it. Or let's say, no, I think the steward is more interesting. Let's say I'm not a technical person. I'm an entrepreneur, like you said. I want to take advantage of some funding I have. So what I can do is I can help the financing. The training processes are expensive. So that's a fact. It's going to be less expensive over time, but computing and the training process of large amount of data, it's an expensive process. And so when you bring 2, 3, 10 companies working together for activating something, like improving myself, you will bring in this DFL, you will bring the training, you will collect all that training, and you will have the need of high compute to deliver a model that understands how to provide better prediction, how to help you to make this sales process, creating this new product in a better way. At the same time, those companies probably cannot afford by themselves that process, but they will definitely benefit at some point, and they will be able to give it back in a way. So the way we think this is, we allow companies to subscribe to an activation that they will be paying over time, and on the other side, we allow retail investors, whoever wants to support, to become stewards of that subscription. And what that means is they will upfront the training costs of that particular activation, and they will get back rewards once the subscription is running and the companies around that activation start taking advantage of the results, and in a way, it's like they will start improving their sales, improving the businesses, so it's going to pay by itself. But today they are kind of stuck. I may have that option, but I have my data, I'm sitting on my data. I cannot take advantage because I don't want to share data, but also I cannot finance it. So you have the stewards that will be able to help that process and take advantage of that. So that's a very good use case where you may want to collaborate, you may want to participate. You are not a technical person, you don't have data, but you can help the process in this financing part of the deal.
Yeah, man. Okay, so there's actually a lot of different kinds of ways to both be involved, but also to take advantage of the whole intelligence mesh and the intelligence created there. Talk to me about these silos of ignorance and how Brainstems is helping its clients, out of that trap.
Well, yeah, the silo of ignorance is, the company knows what happens within a company. I have my customers' data, I have my sales data, I have my marketing plans, but everything is what I have. I don't know what the competition is doing. I don't even know what my distributor is doing. I don't have their history. I don't have their customers. So when it comes to AI, the training I can achieve by myself is limited to the information I can reach. And most of the time, that information is what I have, what I own. So that makes me somehow ignorant, because probably I will think, based on my data and my AI, I will think that action A is going to be the best, and this is going to happen this way. And maybe the other company that is working on the same supply chain, even working with me, maybe we'll have a different understanding of what's going to be the future, because they are also doing their AI training within their own silo of ignorance. So what you have at the end is we are all very smart within our, silo, our own silo, and that doesn't help. At the end, what you will have is every single company will have a different prediction of the same question, and that's a mess, because they will be running actions towards something that is not going to happen probably the way they think, and that's where the needs of kind of joining that knowledge comes to place, because otherwise, a lot of money wasted for acting and executing over a prediction that is, it's my own prediction.
Yeah, gotcha. So Omar, what are some of the things that you are most excited about, thinking about 2024, the rest of this year, both with Brainstems, but also just with the, let's go with the crypto, blockchain, and also AI ecosystems? What are some of the things that you are particularly excited about? Let's start with Brainstems, and then let's go out to the market more generally.
And for Brainstems, I think I should go back to how it started for me, and as a blockchain consultant, like understanding what happens in this field. I receive many times people saying, I want to tokenize. One very usual is, I want to tokenize a football club, and that's great, well, let's tokenize it, because that way we will help, we will allow people to invest and have a part of that football club, and all that stuff. And my first question usually is, do you own that football club? Do you have a partner that owns a football club? And the answer always was no, I don't. So you don't have anything to tokenize. When I met with Eric, who is the CEO of Brainstem, we met that way. He was looking to incorporate the blockchain part for solving this, and my first question was, well, what do you own? You have a funding model, you have something around this, and the answer was yes, I do have it. I do have a very specific funding model that is going to provide the initial value we need for starting this idea, because there is a cold start problem behind it. So when I heard that, I become very excited about, well, we have something to work with. The idea behind it, the problem we are solving make a lot of sense, but also the business angle, coming from a problem from the business side, and not coming from, I want to create a technical product and then I will wait for somebody to find out and start using it. That I saw over, all my blockchain career, I will say. We were building products and they will come, never happen the way we thought, because we're thinking problem from a technical standpoint for business people, and that's not the way it works. So when I grasped about how we were engaging into this, what we were solving, and what were the elements we had, and the moment we were, I said, this is it. This is the best use case I saw on the blockchain from a blockchain field perspective, and from a business standpoint too, because there is a lot of pain that is just going to grow because companies are going to be using more and more AI. So they are going to be more and more isolated. They are going to be more and more dependent on the different AI systems they will be using. So you will see this problem grow so much, and we are so early to help solving this problem in a very good way. That I said, okay, this is where I need to start working on. And yeah, so from that perspective, from Brainstem perspective, I'm really excited about the possibilities that we have and how this is going to change something in the world. Because that's also one of the things I believe from blockchain. It came for helping changing some stuff around the world. The same way that AI is doing right now. So yeah, and from the more crypto perspective, I'm also excited because I'm not new in the field. Maybe I'm not the oldest one, but I went through a couple of storms, and something I observe over the time, since 2016, 2017, it's like we had very good times, very terrible bad times, like down to zero, or I never liked the thinking on the volatile aspect of the crypto and blockchain industry. I was always more on the tech side, like living all the part of thinking on prices and stuff, like that's not my thing. But I understand that drives a lot of attention, good and bad attention, and sometimes doesn't help to like really develop the industry. But I think we are coming to a maturity where we understand that this came for a reason, and this came for a purpose, and is going to remain, and this is going to be part of what we have out there for working with, and it's going to really change the world. So I'm really excited about that maturity that we are seeing, and look at it. Like, not, I know prices are nice to see when they are going up, but you don't want to think and to be kind of asking yourself when prices are going down, like, oh, this is the right technology. Well, for me, it's not about the price. It's there is something else. That's that's for traders in any case, and that's fine for them. But yeah, I'm excited about that maturity that we are achieving. That is going to grow and grow, and we will realize, and we will also mature from the way we are exposing the technology. We will mature, not think so much about what happens under the hood, like how, I don't know, how decentralized entity works, how the blockchain works, and it works. That's it. This is the way it works. That these are the main attributes you need to ensure, and that's it. Don't bother yourself unless it's needed, because the business doesn't want to know how an iPhone works, doesn't want to know how biometrics work. Like, they want to know that they put the finger on the biometric stuff and it works. It reads your fingerprint. If you don't ask yourself how the Face ID works. You put your face and that's it. It unlocks the phone. That's it. So if you want to ensure you have the right transparency, the right governance, the right traceability, well, that's what blockchain brings you. That's it. You don't need to know how the blocks are, how the mining works, and all that stuff.
Yeah, man. So really, you're looking forward to like the promise of blockchain actually starting to materialize in kind of real world applications.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if someone wants to find out more about Brainstems or to hear more from you, how can they either get in touch, or how can they find out more?
Well, many different ways. There are so many channels. We definitely, I have definitely my Telegram handle, my Twitter account. We have, I don't know if I have to share the handle. You can follow up the project. All right, perfect. We can get connected through the website Brainstems.ai, Telegram. So you can find out about project in many different ways. You can get in touch with me in different ways, through Telegram and Twitter. Yeah, I'm trying to be more active in Twitter. I got my check mark now.
All right. Omar, thank you so much for joining us today. Really, really appreciate it, and very much looking forward to seeing what's next for Brainstems.
Thank you, Don, for this opportunity. I really enjoy. So yeah, looking forward also, and yeah, let's see how we can move forward, how we can build with Brainstem, and having everybody collaborating and jumping into the project. There will be exciting news very, very soon.
Thanks for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Off-Chain Podcast. We love bringing you great guests like Omar, and hope we've inspired you to think and learn more about Web3, about technology, about AI, about the future, and how you might be involved in building it. As always, like, subscribe, or better yet, share this episode with a friend. Help us spread the word, and join us again next week for another exciting episode of the Off-Chain Podcast. Till then, take care.